Hey Bible lovers, I'm Tim Nichols and I'm going to bring you your Nichols Worth, and today I'm going to go ahead and give you a comparison between the RSV Sovereign and the RSV Quentel and the KJV Canterbury because these have some similarities. Let's go ahead and take a look first at the cover. Now look, here's the deal. When you're looking at a Schuyler, this is going to be higher quality material. This is going to be higher quality goat skin. It's going to have that cowhide liner. This is going to have a synthetic liner. So from a quality standpoint, they're not going to compare. But when it comes to a price standpoint, this is well over $200. This is well over $200. In fact, some of your full yaps can get into the $250 range. Right now, when you're able to catch one of these on sale in genuine leather with really nice tool lines going around, nice stitching, really nice spine work, two really nice ribbons, and I'm going to say a quality vinyl paste down with some reinforcement bookbinders tape there. If you catch this on sale, you can get it for under $50 in some cases, but always well under $100. Unless you get the thumb indexed editions, those can be a little more expensive. So now let's take a look and see how they compare. First of all, this paper is going to be a little bit thicker. If I were guessing, I would say this paper is probably somewhere around 33 GSM, while the Schuyler is going to have the 28 GSM. So you can see, if we get into the non-poetic settings, it's going to have a very similar layout. This is going to have a bit of a larger font, but I'm telling you, when you compare the two side by side with that super bold font, it's really not that big of a deal. The font size is different. The Quentel is a 10 and the Sovereign is a 9.5, so you're not giving up a whole lot. And another thing really cool about it is when you consider footprint size. This is a personal size. Check it out. It's probably 1.5 inches shorter and about 1 inch, not as wide. And then when you get to thickness, check this out. You're not really, that's virtually the same thickness. And we're getting thicker paper. We're getting virtually the same size font. So when we get to the RSV, one thing about the RSV, this one actually includes the Apocrypha. And another thing about this one that you may want to check out. Make sure you check your Bibles because sometimes the margin spaces are inconsistent. Yeah, there's virtually no margin space here. See that? I don't know what happened here when the paper was cut, but it begins in Hebrews, and check it out. We have no margin here. We have a big wide margin here. So that can be disappointing if you're paying like $250 for a Bible to have the layout all kind of whacked out like that. So I know I was extremely disappointed. When you get to this, it has nice little even margin space. Just like this, it has your references on the bottom where the Quentel puts your notes in the corner. The notes are mixed in with the references on the bottom. The drop caps are a little bit different. These are a bit smaller, and you can see these have some white space in them. But ultimately, if you're looking for a 1971 RSV, which is the only one you can get in print, this is a really good option, and you get a really nice cover, tool work on the front and the back. I love that they blind stamp that ISBN number. Really cool. Also, with the RSV Quentel, when you get into the poetic settings, which I think is one of the greatest features of the Canterbury, which we'll show you in a minute, all the wisdom literature is in single column to emphasize its poetic form. But in the Quentel, now not all the poetry, just the wisdom literature alone is in that single column format. But then when you get into the Quentel, it's going to be center justified in poetic form, but it's going to be double column. This is where you can see some similarities to the Canterbury. Number one, the drop caps look very similar in this. But when you get into that poetic settings, now what sets this one apart is Job is in single column, this is in double. But when you get to the Psalms, this is going to be in single column and this is going to be in single column. So you see some really nice similarities there, but you've got a much better price point. The Sovereign also comes in the KJV, so if you like the KJV, you can get something very similar, and it's going to have that single column format. If you like the NKJV, unfortunately, the NKJV is double column all the way through. I'll link a video where I talk about that in the video description. And then, of course, when you get to Proverbs, this one is going to be in double column, so only the Psalms in the Canterbury. But this one, check it out, it's not just the Psalms, but it's also the Proverbs. We just showed you the book of Job, Songs of Solomon, Ecclesiastes. So all your wisdom literature is in that beautiful single column form. It has that nice dark print. Now, in my previous video, one thing I pointed out is the red drop caps do tend to be inconsistent here and there. They're definitely going to be a little more consistent in your Canterbury, but as I showed you with the RSV Quentel, they have their own inconsistencies with the layout being all over the place, where the pages being miscut and different problems. So if I'm spending the money on an RSV, I'm not grabbing for the Quentel. I am going for this. Because even right now, if you get this on sale, as I said earlier, you can catch a leather edition without the thumb indexes for around 50 bucks or less. But even when they're not on sale, they're going to be well under $100. And if you don't go for the genuine leather and you want to get a Leathersoft, those are always going to be under 50 bucks. And they're really nice editions, same paper, same layout. So for me, when I take a look at this and I see what it has to offer, it has that single column wisdom literature. I think that the RSV Sovereign actually outperforms the RSV Quentel. The half a point font you give up is not significant enough for me. You don't surrender any thickness, and you get a smaller footprint in a personal size. You get some tool lines on that cover. You really get all the bells and whistles. You're missing the art gilding, but the gilding on this is actually nice. So, folks, I just recommend that you grab yourself a Sovereign. God bless you. Keep calm. Jesus on. This is your Nicholsworth.